Hi, this is Laura Rose of Purely Good Cooking, and today I'm going to be bringing you Mostaccioli cookies, which is a famous Italian cookie. My father has been enjoying this cookie since he was a little boy. His aunt used to make it for him, and ever since, because I make it for him every year. Actually, he loves to make them too, but it's better when we make these great cookie together. So let's begin with the ingredients. The ingredients include a dough, which is different than a lot of cookie doughs. It includes grape jam, a good quality grape jam. So we'll begin with 8 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt, 30 ounces of good quality grape jam, 2 cups of grated baking chocolate, I prefer milk, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of ground cloves, 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 2 large eggs, a quarter cup of vegetable oil, dark brown sugar, molasses, a half a cup of honey, the zest of 2 large oranges, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. You could also add a vanilla glaze to the top. That includes a half a cup of confectioner's sugar, 2 tablespoons of whole milk, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla. If you'd like a chocolate glaze, add 1/4 cup of melted milk chocolate. Blend well. So we begin with pulling together the dry ingredients and setting that aside, setting the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So you'll be sifting together flour, the spices, the baking powder, and the salt, putting that off to the side. In a stand mixer bowl, which I prefer for this recipe because the dough is rather hard to work with, you'll be bringing together the wet ingredients, the jam, the molasses, the brown sugar, and the honey. You'll be beating that well and then adding pre-beaten eggs. You'll be stirring in the orange zest and the vanilla extract. Slowly, you'll mix in the flour mixture a little bit at a time and stirring in the grated chocolate. The dough will be very soft and gooey, as you can see here. If it's too sticky, put a little more flour in as you need. You basically want to have dough that's pliable and able to be rolled out into kind of a log. So the idea is to work with small portions of dough, like a meatball size, on a well-floured surface. You'll roll out the dough to be about a half an inch thick log, and then you'll be cutting each of those logs into 3-inch pieces. From there, you'll be flattening it and adding small diagonal slits on the sides of the cookie, and you'll be placing it on a prepared cookie sheet. Keeping them close together is fine. They don't really rise too much or spread. Be baking it in a preheated oven at 10 to 12 minutes until slightly soft to touch. Don't overbake them, they'll be too hard. They'll be shower cookies, as Pop calls them. You'll need to cool that on a rack, and when they're cooled, you can go ahead and glaze. So let's talk a little bit about the actual process of rolling out the cookie. Once the dough is pulled together, and you've seen that the dough can be thick and can be sticky unless you have flour set on the side, to go ahead and add that flour to your cutting board or dough board, whichever you prefer to work with. And here you'll see Pop is rolling this log out using his fingers to kind of lengthen the log and make it thinner. The idea is that the cookie should be not too thick, as far as maybe about an inch wide once it's flattened. So you want to begin with a half-inch thick log. You'll definitely want to be using a well-floured surface to do this. And you'll see he's cutting that log into 3-inch long pieces. He's then flattening those pieces out. That is actually, each one of those pieces is a cookie itself. And then from there, he'll add diagonal slits to the sides and putting it on a prepared cookie sheet. Prepared meaning greased and floured or parchment lined cookie sheet. So basically you're rolling, flattening, cutting the dough, and baking as you go. This recipe makes about 4 dozen, so you'll definitely have enough to enjoy and share and store. You'll see how he did that. Basically, you want this cookie to look similar to a palm tree, which is common in the land, the part of Italy that this little cookie comes from was more the southern area of Italy, where there were a lot of palm trees, and that's how this Mostaccioli cookie came to pass. Here you'll see he's cutting the slits carefully. You'll see how thick that dough is there. You can also add 1 cup of candied fruit to half of the dough, or a smaller portion if you'd like, to kind of add a little bit of a holiday flavor or holiday spin if you prefer. So as you work through that entire vessel of dough, you bake them 350-degree oven on prepared cookie sheets for about 10 to 12 minutes until light brown on the bottom. Don't overbake them, for sure. Cool them on a cooling rack, and then you can brush with a glaze after they've been cooled. You definitely want to store these in an airtight container or you'll have shower cookies. You can serve, store, or freeze these cookies well. And, the idea of the shower cookie is that Pop says if it's too hard to crunch, you basically need to take the cookie into the shower because that's how difficult it is to bite into it. So this is a great cookie for dipping in tea or with coffee. So here you'll see the beautiful final. We've sprinkled a little bit of holiday sprinkles on the top. You could do that when the glaze is wet. They'll stick if you'd like. Otherwise, it's a fabulous cookie to really enjoy all year long. So enjoy. Thank you for being here with me, Laura Rose, from Purely Good Cooking. Be sure to follow me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. From the heart of my home, the kitchen, with love to you. Have a great day.